Oh boy, get ready to cringe. I did not know this was happening, but apparently this went down at some point during my stream today, and I didn't catch it live. But it's now recorded and uploaded, and we can watch it now. We're a couple hours late on this, like 5 hours late, but not by that much. So, we might as well be watching this live. Sorry, I really had to burp there. I don't know why. Anyway, Donald Trump has been dealing with a little bit of an attempt to attack his ego. All right? A lot of people and outlets have been attempting this by framing Elon as the puppet master and Trump as the puppet. There's been this attempt to sort of sow a division between Trump and Elon. And somehow, some way, it seems like it's not working. Trump and Elon seem dead set on proving wrong that they can be driven apart. And to demonstrate this, Trump invited Elon to the Oval Office to join him on like a live television as they sign, or as Trump signs, executive orders. And of course, this is Elon's little alien named son joining him. They are here in the Oval Office, and Trump's about to sign God knows what country-destroying executive orders right here, while Elon, with his little dark MAGA hat, talks about how this is best for America. Isn't the kid's name like X3742 or whatever? Yeah, it's something like that. Anyway, this just happened. Let's see what the fuck is going on.
Necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about 30 million,
right.
etc.?
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is what happened to USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at.
So for those that don't know, Elon Musk and Doge have been constantly lying. Doge's whole point, or I guess the pitch for Doge, is that it's supposed to increase government efficiency. It is supposed to comb through government spending and cut away the excesses and the wastes and make our tax spending a lot more, our tax money be spent a lot more efficiently and a lot better. Right? That's the idea behind it. That is what Trump supporters think Doge is going to do. Though I find it very funny that Doge has made no attempt whatsoever to investigate the money spent on the military-industrial complex, for instance. None. None of that has been investigated by Doge. The military-industrial complex, that entire realm of business and industry, untouched. Interesting, despite how privatized it is. I wonder if they'll also be looking into expenditures on how much the federal government gives to private space agencies, such as SpaceX. Isn't that a wasteful expenditure? Oh, I'm sure it won't be determined to be so, though. And surely not because the guy who runs that company is in charge of whether or not that company receives federal funding now. I'm sure that's no conflict of interest there, guys. And keep in mind, as blatantly corrupt as this is, Republicans and the normies will still die on the hill that this right here is no different than Democrats accepting donations from CEOs.
Investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So.
They're getting wealthier at taxpayer expense. Are they being overpaid? Are they doing insider trading? What are they doing to supposedly accumulate tens of millions of dollars of net worth on $100,000 a year salary? What is the accusation here, though? What is the accusation? Are they stealing tens of millions of tax dollars from the Treasury and pocketing it? Are they insider trade? What is the accusation? He said nothing. This is just meant to appeal to their crowd that are too stupid and they hear a few words from a guy they think is way smarter than them, and they say, ah, yes, he knows what he's talking about. They're right on the money.
We're looking at, say, we just, if you look at, say, Treasury, for example, basic controls that should be in place, that are in place in any company, such as making sure that any given payment has a payment categorization code, that there is a comment field that describes the payment, and that if a payment is on the do not pay list, that you don't actually pay it. None of those things are true currently. So the reason that departments can't pass audits is because the payments don't have a categorization code. It's like just a massive number of blank checks just flying out the building. So you can't reconcile blank checks.
Is the federal government supposed to operate like a company? Assuming he's not just making this up, I mean, sure, okay. Add, like, info to payouts so there's more info on what they were for, I guess. Who cares? All right. That has nothing to do with cutting off funds to certain government agencies. Who cares?
We've got comment fields that are also blank, so you don't know why the payment was made. And then we've got this truly absurd, a do not pay list, which can take up to a year for an organization to get on a do not pay list. And this we're talking about.
Oh, okay. All right. No, this is completely made up. For those that don't know, they're talking about USAID and how places like Politico could pay USAID for a subscription that would get them like the fastest contact in order to find out information on something they may want to report on. It's basically like I think even the Daily Wire had this subscription, which was funny because like a Daily Wire person called this out and it got called out that, oh wait, Daily Wire is the same thing. Fox News has it, I believe. Like a lot of big left and right wing institutions buy this like subscription from USA. It's basically a subscription. I don't know what else to call it. And it's essentially just, hey, can we talk to a guy right now on this breaking story to get whatever comment we can? They've tried to frame this as USAID being the ones giving money to private companies. It's literally the other way around. Remember, reality is the opposite of whatever these fucking freaks tell you it is. And if you don't believe me, Google this. Like, I'm not... Go Google what I just said. Look into this. Look into the USAID Politico shit. Google that and see what's actually going on. I would bring it up myself right now, but we got 25 minutes of this to watch, so...
Terrorist organizations, we're talking about known fraudsters, known aspects of waste, known things that do not match any congressional appropriation, can take up to a year to get on the list, and even once on the list is not used. It's mind-blowing. So what we're talking about here, we're really just talking about adding common sense controls that should be present, that haven't been present. So you say, like, well, how could such a thing arise? That seems crazy. When you understand that really everything is geared towards complaint minimization, so then you understand the motivation.
This kid is so bored.
So if people receive money, they don't complain.
The kid keeps making... Let the kid keep making faces into the camera. Fuck you. Don't zoom in on Elon because his kid is being too entertaining. I was genuinely tuning out everything Elon was saying and paying attention to... They literally had to zoom in on Elon because what he's saying is so much less interesting than his kid just making funny faces and exasperatedly expressing his boredom. Oh my god. Because the kid's like... And like swinging his arms and like... You can tell after about 2 minutes he's like, can this be over now? Sorry, Zax14. You gotta be here for the next 25 minutes.
Obviously. But if people don't receive money, they do complain. And the fraudsters complain the loudest and the fastest. So... then when you understand that, then it makes sense. Oh, that's why everything just, they approve all the payments at Treasury. Because if you approve all the payments, you don't get complaints. But now we're saying that, no, actually, we are going to complain. If money is spent badly, if your taxpayer dollars are not spent in a sensible and frugal manner, then that's not okay. Your tax dollars need to be spent. Why?
How long until Elon starts dressing in, like, a full-on, like, waistcoat and, like, Nazi, like, war general hat? Like with the big, like, you know, those, like, long waist, like, you know he would do that. Like, he'd start walking around in, like, one of those, like, Nazi-looking, like, officer coats. I bet when we see him in the White House from, like, at least the last 2 years of the presidency, Elon will always be wearing, like, he might just straight up get a actual SS uniform to start wearing, and it's going to be this whole like trolling the media bit that he does, where he's just always wearing an SS uniform. Mark my words right now. Set a reminder that in 2 years, Elon will, at the White House, wear an SS uniform. By the end of the next 2 years, he will wear an SS uniform or something really close to it in the White House. I guarantee you that will happen. He is too LARPy and too much of a dipshit not to do exactly that. He's just going to keep doing the, I'm a Nazi, but everyone defends it and says I'm not. He's going to keep doing that shit. Why is Trump turning brown? The bronzer, man. He's laying it on thick these days.
It's just common sense. It's not. It's not.
I like to think the bronzer probably like fills in the cracks of his wrinkles a lot, right? Like, so as he gets older and more wrinkly, he's probably putting more of it on to kind of like fill in a lot of the creases in his face and kind of reduce how much the age shows. So like he's gotten oranger and oranger and oranger over time, probably because like that's his main way of hiding his age. You got to remember, Trump is older now than Biden was when he took office in 2020. And people were giving Biden shit for his age back then. So Trump is very, very desperate to avoid the perception that he's too old to run, right? Biden got a lot of shit with claims that he was too old. Trump gets none of that. He does not want to get any of that.
It's not draconian or radical, I think. It's really just saying, let's look at each of these expenditures and say, is this actually in the best interest of the people? And if it is, it's approved. If it's not, we should think about it. So, there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. So, that's a case where, like, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous, one of the two. And then there are a whole bunch of Social Security payments where there's no identifying information. Well, like, why is there no identifying information?
How?
Obviously, we want to make sure that people who deserve to receive Social Security do receive it, and that they receive it quickly and accurately. Also, another crazy thing. So,
how you receive Social Security through your identity attached to your Social Security number? Like, what is the logic here? What a fucking liar. There's no one on Social Security who's 150 and still receiving it. I am willing to bet that's probably not the case. Then again, like what Elon's doing here is actually really, really smart, because for the next 20 minutes, he can just keep making shit up. If he can tell 150 lies by the end of this, not even a fraction of them will get to be corrected in front of any sizable audience. Compared to the people who heard his lies. And on top of that, it's so many that only a few of them will ever be memorable. You know? And so when you lay it on so thick, it's almost like what I found is we've gotten to the point now where lying so hard and so frequently almost has the same effect as if you were the most honest person on the planet and never, ever lie. That is genuinely the point we've gotten to, as far as like the amount of accountability that can be held to someone for it.
One of the things is like we are trying to sort of right-size the federal bureaucracy, just make sure that this obviously there need to be a lot of people working for the federal government, but not as many as currently. So we're saying, let's if people can retire, with full benefits, everything that would be good. They can retire, get their retirement payments, everything, and then.
Notice, by the way, this is all about. They're like, let's get them to retire with full benefits and pay them out. And it's like, why are we trying to spend a shitload of money to buy out people that to no longer be working in government and also provide them benefits like you're claiming you want to, if the goal is to reduce the amount of wasted money on unneeded workers? Why would that be the supposed best solution to this supposed problem?
We were told, this is actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we're told the most number of people that could retire possibly.
The like evil comedy of all of this as well is that the budget is somewhat unbalanced, like there are definitely areas in which we could cut spending and reallocate it elsewhere, right? And every American knows this. Every American fundamentally, intuitively knows that's true. And so when someone like Elon appeals to that fundamental, like, agreed upon idea and start saying he's acknowledging it, they believe it, because a lot of them don't know what areas of government are being overspent on. For instance, the military-industrial complex and the sectors in which we have allowed certain industries like space travel to be privatized. We provide massive government grants to these private corporations, paying them to do something that we used to do ourselves, that the government was doing, because we privatized, like, yeah, anyway. The hilarious thing about all of it, though, is that the parts of government that are receiving the most money, the most wasted money, are not being touched in the slightest by Doge. There will be as much, if not more money than ever wasted on things like the military-industrial complex, and the things that are going to get cut are Social Security, infrastructure, healthcare, all the things that actually help Americans.
Possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. And I'm like, what do you mean a mine? Like, yeah, there's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement.
It's called a dumb. You dumb fuck. It's called a dumb. I think it stands for like, fuck, what is it called? What does the acronym stand for? I just know the acronym is dumb. Dumb acronym bunker. What's it stand for? Alternatively, some think it's what's known as a dumb, an acronym for Deep Underground Military Base. Yeah. Like, they've got those all throughout Washington. Not like, they're like 60, 30 feet down. They've got shitloads of bunkers, especially under the Pentagon. Like, they keep a ton of stuff stored underground in the Capitol. Those things are all over the fucking place. Yeah, that's nothing crazy. That's what you don't want that shit to ever get destroyed, you know? Like, you don't want it getting burned down like a fire, so you put it deep down in a mine where nothing can spark or burn, and there's like no air for a fire or anything, and it's safe from bombs or floods or hurricanes or 1,000 years of weathering, you know? Good lord.
Paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then.
Is he just blabbing about like secret infrastructure? Because are we even supposed to know the shit he's talking about? Like, imagine the shit he's talking about is, like, kind of shit, like, imagine the Pentagon is watching this right now, like, stop! Elon, stop! You know, like, imagine this is some top secret location he's discussing, and it's like, they keep a ton of important shit there. Dude. Oh my god. That would be funny as fuck if he's just, like, leaking so many American secrets right now.
Nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's like 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we can take those people and say, like, you know what, instead of working in a mine shaft and carrying manila envelopes to, boxes in a mine shaft, you could do practically anything else. And you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way. So anyway, so I think, that's an example. Like at a high level, if you say, like, how do we increase prosperity, is we get people to shift from roles that are low to negative productivity to high productivity roles. And so you increase the total output of goods and services, which means that there's a higher standard of living available for everyone. That's that.
None of this is actually coherent. None of what he just said is coherent. Like, I don't need to explain why those words did not actually equate to a real expressed idea, right? We need to take people from inefficient jobs and put them in efficient jobs in federal government, and this will lead to prosperity for the country. What? That's like saying, we got to remove wokeness from movies and then everyone will make more money. It's like, you're just appealing to people who have an ideological agreement with the idea of less wokeness in movies and making more money, but people believe it. And the same thing is here, right? Yeah, that sounds right. Put people in more efficient positions and we'll be prosperous. Like, it means nothing. It's incoherent. It's nonsense. But to the types of people who think with what Trump likes to call common sense, they hear that, they say, sounds right to me. and not a single brain cell more is devoted to considering that idea.
Goal. No one's very quiet. So people normally this quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk,
what?
including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all,
for the record, by the way, they're not allowed, like, no media outlets that are critical of Elon or Trump or challenging of them are allowed to interview them or do these, like, press things. So we'll never get a hardball question at them ever again by the media. Like, they'll never appear on camera and receive a hardball question. Not even once. Is this 1x speed? No, it's on 3x or 1.3x speed.
you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted. We have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House. We won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major.
And I'm glad he's reminding everyone of that they voted for this and what is coming.
Major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are, in effect, policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
No. Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent.
No! No fucking shot! No way! Re-listen and watch that. Hold on. That went crazy.
Voted for. But in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are, in effect, policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
No. Well, we actually...
Wisdom from the mouth of babes. Even Elon Musk's kid. No. That's crazy, dude. That's actually fucking crazy. Like I don't... I don't think there is any single note better that we could end this segment on than that woman asking if there are any accountability for Elon or any checks and balances, and his son just randomly says no. By the way, what a snitch. Elon raised a snitch, but also that is funny as fuck, and no one else like good snitching on him, you know? But like, oh my god, that is funny. Dude, you think Grimes told him to say that? You think Grimes tells him, like, listen, whenever Elon's on TV, you fuck with him, okay? Make him look bad. Fucking hell. Imagine Elon's son saves America. It'd be hilarious. Has anyone commented on that in the replies? No one. It seems like it's all Trump supporters. They're all in favor of this. This is what I voted for. Transparency builds trust. These federal workers need to go to jail for outright theft. So yeah, most of the comments are calling for federal workers to go to prison for supposedly stealing because they believe the unsubstantiated claim from Elon, hook, line, and sinker, enough to send people to jail on it, that these federal employees were stealing from the Treasury. Somehow. Through their paychecks, they were stealing. Like, Elon said they were getting blank checks and were, I guess, able to write in whatever amount they wanted. That is definitely not fucking true. Let's be real. He lied his ass off there. But these are the people who control things now. And they control what media gets to speak to them or even enter the White House. So There are not any, like, real critical questions, and even then, Elon got ratted out by his own son. That is hilarious. Listen, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way, please consider leaving a like and a sub. It really helps a ton. It really does. It helps to make sure that YouTube boosts my channel in the algorithm, and it really means a lot. Comment down below as well if you want to boost me as well. All these things are totally free, and they mean a lot. You can also follow my social medias linked down below if you want to see more from me on other platforms. And if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then you can donate, subscribe, gift a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or you can support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. But with all that, I hope you guys really did enjoy this segment, and I hope to see you guys again in the next one.